Ladies and gentlemen.
Giggity. All right.
Seems quiet. Too quiet.
I'm Batman. Gotham is never safe without me. What time is it? It's 7 o'clock. Okay, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You can attach towers? Shut up. Impromptu performance this evening, which I must say was indeed a welcome distraction. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. You're very kind. This is going to be funny. I hope it's fun. I really do. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another cozy night of reading. I hope you're well. Mad Locust, good to see you. Stunt Mama's Mama. 30 months. Oh my gosh. I could have swore you just subbed. I feel like we've had this conversation before. Thank you so much. Gosh. Where did my, did I not? No, I didn't. Hold on. Just having a conversation with myself. It's fine. Let's do that. Yep. And Mel's here. Hi. Good to see you. I forgot to get my spinny wheel going, but we got it now. What does that say? Streamer picks. Wonderful. I love when I get to pick. I talk to myself all the time. Nothing wrong with that. Don't we all? Thank you so much for a 12-month streak as well. 30 months total. Gosh, has it really been that long? Dang. That feels like such a long time. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Well, since I get to pick, Hama. All we're missing now is booty squats. Let's make that a bit smaller. We don't need that to be up front and center in everyone's faces. Hammer time. That's right. Oh boy. I tell you what. I'm looking forward to reading tonight. It's going to be good. I can tell. I mean, it's always been good, but I just feel like something special's going to happen. Something extra. I haven't read ahead. I never do, but I can just feel it. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. I made sure the puzzle was a little extra challenging this time because on Sunday, guys were kicking my butt by doing the puzzles too fast. Yes, we have questions after Sunday, don't we? So this is the puzzle for tonight. The moon from a desert landscape. Honk, noise, honk, noise, noise, honk. Hello, Meek. So there's a story behind that noise. We were playing American Truck Sim. And this was like last night, I think. And I was mentioning how some of the horns, like the good, deep truck sounds, reminded me of that kind of honk noise, you know, like. So I told them I was going to record it and make it a redeem. And so here it is. So yeah, there you go. I started practicing reading aloud. Nice. Make it sound like I'm the actual character. You're inspiring me to start. It's good fun. I still have a ways to go. Well, that's awesome. That's so cool. That makes my day. Seriously, that's so cool. Good for you. I love that. I hope you enjoy the process. And the best part about it is you get to make it your own, you know? There's no rules that say something has to sound a certain way or whatever. So just have fun with it. Absolutely. Cody. Well, that honking was a time to arrive. Yes. Yes, it was. Cody Hinkelhart. Hello there. Y'all have really gotten into ATS? I was already into it. I am proud to say I have influenced everybody to get back into it, I think is the key there. Yes. In fact, sometime tomorrow, I've got 2 smaller monitors that were like $50 a piece with their own stand, might I add, arriving so that I can try and see if I can get the whole side window view when driving said truck. So we'll see. Got to do some testing, but we'll find out. I was here for the last book stream, but I think I lurked in the shadows and just listened the whole time. Also, hey, Stunty's mama. Well, that's okay. Lurking's just fine. I hope you enjoyed it. Zarias, hello. Welcome to the puzzle. Good luck. It's a doozy. Tis a doozy. I'm trying to remember how many pieces. I want to say 580, perhaps, something like that. Anyway, my gosh, did we end on a cliff last time? We really did. Jesse's here. Hello, Jesse. It is good to see you all. It really is. I've got my piping hot tea. Gonna see if I can attempt a sip to make sure it tastes okay. I'm sure it will. Hello, darling. Hello, darling, to you too. Tea. That first sip is always the most satisfactory. Let's just all take a moment. Anytime you're in the area and you need me to make you a cup of tea, just you let me know and I will make you. It has to be the same tea that I make. But besides that, you just let me know and I will whip you up a delightful cup. All right. Tea and book club. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I had toyed with the idea of opening up American Truck Simulator, finding a place to park that had a nice view, and then just reading the book with the view. Sounds weird, I know. If I'm ever your direction, I will expect it. Well, if you are, there'll be questions of why. But you'll also be welcomed with open arms. All right, I have the book right here. Let's switch over to our reading library, shall we? Another handy thing about this steering wheel that I have is that it kind of works as a little book stand. Almost. It's not perfect, but it's in the right, area. It's got the right idea. Okay. Let's get those yawns out of the way. Ha. Oh, it's just so good. I've been a tired boy today. Past couple days, actually. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on chapter 22, page 170 in the printed copy. It is my pleasure and my duty to read to you tonight. So please, whatever it is that's consuming your brain, whatever it is that's clogging the mind, just for a couple hours, just let it go. Sit back, take a load off, enjoy a warm beverage or a cold beverage, whatever helps you. Just get comfortable, and I will read you a story written by none other than Melissa Roos, who is in chat with us this evening. Thank you again for being here. I love it when you're here. I can't wait to see what happens. So without further ado, chapter 22. And yes, I realize that rhymed. That was my intention. After the fact. Chapter 22. Bree stood at the patio door, sipping her second cup of coffee, feeling the caffeine flow into her system. Entranced, she watched Riker and Sam work on the pavers. It was like watching a well-oiled machine. Riker lifted and shifted while Sam placed and leveled. Both guys had muscles well toned from years of manual labor. Her heart did a little flip as she watched Riker. Despite all the questions and concerns she had about him, she was more afraid that she might fall for him than the idea he might be dangerous. She couldn't bear to give her heart to someone else that would hurt her, leave her, or destroy her. Losing her family nearly had. The doorbell rang. The doorbell? The doorbell rang, pulling her away from the window and Riker. Excuse me. Oh, Detective Savard, right on time, Bree said, opening the door. Please, come in. Good morning, Miss Thompson. Please, call me Bree. He smiled at her, making the corners of his dark brown eyes crinkle. He wore jeans today, a white button-down shirt and a brown jacket. Sunglasses were perched on his shiny bald head, and a pen was in the front shirt pocket. His phone was clipped on his brown belt, which matched his shoes, and he carried a small notepad in his hand. Getting down to business, he said, "How about we take a walk?" Trig, you do have a shiny bald head. I've seen it. It's very nice, though. So, own it. It's a lovely bald head. How about we take a walk? You can show me where you were last night. Do you mind if we go through the house? My shoes are in the breezeway. That's fine. We can go out the same door, and retrace your steps. I have long hair and a goatee, which is quite the opposite of being bald. Yin and yang. He indicated for her to go first. He glanced into the living room as they walked by. I see you took down what was left of the shears. Yes, but that's as far as I've gotten. Sam brought me some turpentine to clean up the paint. I'll probably do that this afternoon. I didn't have the energy to start it this morning. Bree slipped on her shoes. Ready? They walked into the garage. As I told you last night, my studio is upstairs. I came down and went out this door. Anyone could have come in this way without a key because you left it unlocked, correct? Yes, but it was locked when I came back up, so they must have slipped back out this way and turned the knob, then pulled it shut. Savard looked around. The door isn't visible from the front of the house, but easy to find. Easy enough to find. Okay, you came out this way, then what? I walked down to the dock. The lighting was perfect, so I took some pictures, but I wasn't really in the mood after being up all night. Instead, I decided to relax. Bree pointed to her spot. They walked the rest of the way in silence. Take the seat you had last night, Savard said, indicating the chairs. She did as she was told. Was it this quiet out here last night? He asked, noticing that the wind had died down and sounds were carrying. They could hear voices and music drift towards them and the occasional clink of tools. Why did I feel like I just heard a weird noise? I'm losing it. I'll be fine. The wind was stronger, the waves more turbulent. Savard did a slow 180, taking in the whole of the yard. You can easily see the whole back of the house from here, even though we're at a lower grade. But if your back is to it, you're far enough away not to notice anything going on up there. Certainly not someone trying to go unseen. It would be easy to slip in and out unnoticed. Savard sat down beside her. He pulled his ink pen out of his pocket and flipped open the pad, glancing at the shifting blue water. I can see why it was easy for you to fall asleep here. It's peaceful. Yes, it is. This spot is one of the many reasons I bought the house. Have you given any thought to what I asked last night? About the possibility of who or what? Bree fished a folded piece of paper from her back pocket and handed it to him. Here are all the names you requested. Ex-boyfriend, family, friends, and people I've met since coming here, along with the phone numbers I have. Thank you. Any ideas? He asked, scanning it. Maybe. Bree shifted in her chair, suddenly uncomfortable. I could only think of one person, but honestly, I hate to mention it because it just doesn't feel right. You let me worry about figuring it out. Give me as much information as you can. She wasn't sure how to say it, so she decided to explain it, trying hard not to say his name yet. I have a website for my business. It's called Images by Bree. I post pictures, write a blog, have photos for purchase, and a place for my followers to leave remarks. They can comment on my work or ask questions they may have regarding photography. He jotted it down. Go on. Well, I received an unkind comment on my blog a few weeks ago. I tried not to overthink it. A few days later, another nasty comment through my email said exactly what had been carved into the floor. You took what was mine. Then 2 more comments on my blog. She gave him almost word for word what the other comments had been. The one was the same as what was carved into the floor? She nodded. Do you still have the emails? I deleted them. But I don't think I've emptied my trash in a while, so they should still be there? Good. I'll need to see them. Is there a reason you didn't report this? I just thought... I don't know what I thought. I guess that it was someone a million miles from here, or if I ignored it, they would stop. And now? Now that it's carved into your floor? What do you think now? Now it's real. Up close and... She couldn't finish. Was there a username? Yes, Cage. Cage? He questioned. How did they spell it? Kage? That's a unique name. It reminds me of the main character in the movie The Black Shadow. She shrugged. Now that you mention it, I think you're right. I've seen those movies. Any other ideas? Someone's last name or nickname from back home, perhaps? Or someone you know that's really into the Black Shadow? Well, my cousin when we were younger, but he had every action figure in his spaceship too. I think it was called the Shadow Jumper. She smiled at the memory. Ah, Firebeeve. Now I can smile at your memory. Thanks, buddy. 7 months in a row. How are you? Doc give you any good news for a change? Just out of curiosity? You're great. Oh, look, hammer curls. No news? Maybe no news is good news? I have no idea. I'm just hoping for the best. Still have a lot of tests to do. I get that, unfortunately. I get that all too much.
Nah, did you get a bot? Yeah, I'll do it at the end. Watch.
Yeah, I just got me a Diggy Boy.
Yeah, see?
Yep. I remember that game. I was human once too. Well, thank you again, sir. I really appreciate it. I really do. Dude, I got a Ninja Creamy. You mean like one of those machines that, well, helps you make cream, like ice cream and stuff like that? Ice cream maker. Yeah. That's cool. Get it? Ice cream. It's cool. I think we had an ice cream maker. I don't know if it was the Ninja one or not, but I think she used it. My wife used it like once, twice, and then it never got used again. But I think it's more of a pain in the butt. That's why, because every time you want to get the ice cream out, you have to put it back in the machine to mix it back up, and then you can eat it. It's like, what? That's not how it's supposed to work. It's not paint. Anyway, thank you again. Sincerely. I'm just nailing it tonight. I swear, if the words weren't written down for me, I'd be screwed. Oh, yeah. So Bree was thinking about her cousin who really loved that show or the movie and had a spaceship and, you know, all that good stuff. She smiled at the memory, but shook her head. I think every boy my age loved those movies, but... She hesitated. Tell me. It may not matter. Right now, we don't know what matters or what's important. Anything, no matter how small, you need to tell me. Understand? It didn't feel right to think about it, let alone say it out loud, so she blurted it before she could change her mind. It's Riker James. That's her face. I don't have any proof that he's Cage or why he would pick that name, but... Savard leaned closer to Bree and dropped his voice low so it wouldn't carry. What makes you think it might be him? I found out he wanted this house. Now that she'd started, the words tumbled out quickly. He's been trying to get it for some time, but for some reason the Hennings wouldn't sell it to him. I was told he even invented a story about a ghost to keep prospective buyers away from the property. Bree ran her hands through her hair, suddenly self-conscious as Savard watched her. Go on. She sighed. She felt like she was betraying her best friend. How had she come to care for someone so quickly and yet still have so many doubts about him? Focus. She scolded herself. Just state the facts and let Savard figure it out. He was pretty miffed the first couple of times they came to the house to work. I didn't know why, and he kept making these little snide comments about a ghost. How do you know he started this rumor? My real estate agent told me. He looked at his notes. Coastal Realty, right? Bree nodded. He asked, was it Linda? No, Greg Carpenter. He's new? He's on the list. There. She pointed. I guess Sherry, she's a receptionist, told him. It was some fiasco at the office. Riker had been in a big uproar over losing the house. Bree wrung her hands together. By the way, Riker doesn't know that I know. Greg asked me to keep it confidential. He doesn't want to risk losing his new job. I see. The thing is, Detective, it doesn't seem to fit. Riker's also been very kind to me. He put this... He put in this spot for me. She indicated the chairs and the landscaping, rescued me out of the attic and let me stay at his house last night after what happened. Things and people aren't always what they seem. I think I have enough for now. He held out a hand to Bree. She took it, and he placed his other hand on hers. I'll get to the bottom of this, I promise you. For now, stay alert. Might best not to be alone with Mr. James until I've had him checked out. Bree nodded. Thank you, Detective. Just doing my job. I'm going to send Kilpatrick back out to take a look at those emails. Is this afternoon good for you? Yes, that will be fine. She started to stand. Don't get up. Stay here and enjoy the sunshine. I'll find my way back to the car. He left her sitting there, many things running through his mind. He returned to the house and approached the two men on the patio. Good morning, he called loudly to be heard over the music. Both heads turned. Riker reached over and cut the radio. Detective, he called. Riker brushed his hands on his pants and stuck out his hand. How are things this morning? Savard shook his hand, then Sam's. Could ask you both the same thing. Did you guys get any sleep? Not much. You? Probably about the same as you. Heard Breeze spent the night at your place. Savard directed the statement at Riker. That was kind of you. Well, I wasn't about to leave her here alone after what had happened. Savard nodded. Understandable. He looked from one man to the other. You two were together from when you left the job site until you got Miss Thompson's call? No, Sam answered. I went home. I showered, changed, and then picked up pizza on the way to Riker's. What time did you get to Riker's place? I'd say around 7. And you? Savard asked Riker. What did you do after you left here at 5? I stopped at the hardware store, picked up a few things, then went home. And what time did you get there? Right at 6. I took a shower and then did some paperwork until Sam got there with pizza at 7. Who eats dinner at 7? That's not dinner time. I'm just saying. Either of you have your receipts from last night? Mine's in the truck. I can get it for you, Sam said. Can you get it now? Yes, I'll be right back. Riker pulled out his wallet from his back pocket and thumbed through it. A second later, he handed it to Savard. Savard glanced at the timestamp and returned it to Riker, jotting it in his notebook. Bree said you were over here Saturday morning working on the roof. Is that correct? Yes, the weather was nice and I wanted to get the rails primed. That way, Monday morning, the guys could paint. Is it possible you didn't secure the door properly before you left, causing it to swing open in the strong winds we had Sunday? Sam came back and handed the receipt to Savard. Riker hesitated a moment, contemplating the question. Mr. Marcher, how are you, sir? Wonderful to see you. Again. Obviously, I saw you earlier. I don't think you're ever going to play Tarkov or anything else again. I just don't. Why is the clip not playing? Hello?
His chair's all warm.
Wow, that was delayed.
His chair's warm, like you farted in it. It's none of your damn business.
You've been farting in this chair, haven't you?
Yeah, dude.
Was that your brother? It looked like he could be your brother. Doing well, just hanging out. RP has been really good. Yeah, I can tell. It's getting quite in depth for you. This stupid clip. And Trig wants me to read as Arnold. Okay. So I'm going to take a moment here and continue our story as Arnold. Okay. As soon as I find where I left off. Something about Riker contemplate. There it is. He was contemplating the question. It's possible, but not likely. Sam and I are diligent when cleaning up or closing down a job site for the day. We were burned once when we first started. We had a situation where we didn't secure a couple of rooms properly. The owner had dogs and was gone overnight. The dogs got loose and tore up the entire house. They caused thousands of dollars of damage. It wouldn't have happened if we'd been more careful and diligent when closing up for the night. We almost went bankrupt
replacing everything. Urgh. That's why we always ensure we're the last to leave and lock up. If we aren't on site, one of us typically drives by after and checks. Would you agree with that? Savard asked Sam, giving back his receipt. I would. I never worry when it's one of us locking up, Sam said with a jerk of his thumb between the two of them. And then he got State Farm insurance. Because like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Ah! Okay. Oh, there you go. I was wondering what you were trying to type there, Jesse. But you got it. Good job. Right. Back to the story. Wish I could say the same with the others. Savard decided to test the waters a little. What have you two heard about a ghost? Riker chuckled despite himself, and Sam just shook his head. What? You don't believe in that sort of thing? Savard asked, watching their reactions carefully. Tell him, Sam said, looking directly at Riker. He laughed. Fine. He raised his hands in defense. There's no ghost. It was me. I started the rumor. Savard wasn't expecting Riker to come right out and admit it. Why? Riker sighed deeply. I started the rumor about the ghost years ago. At first to get girls. Seems like a odd way to get girls. Anyway, senior year of high school, or summer right before to be more accurate, we'd come out here. The house was already empty. The place was quiet and secluded. Riker shrugged and smiled devilishly. It started as a little white lie to get a cute girl to snuggle closer. I think you get the picture. I do, he agreed knowingly. He'd been 17 once too. But that doesn't explain why you're still telling that same tired story some 10 years or more later. Savard couldn't help baiting Riker. Still having a hard time getting girls? Sam roared with laughter. Riker shot him a dirty look. Not quite. I changed my reasons. I wanted the house. Savard raised an eyebrow. Care to explain? Because I like the look of it. The house, its architecture, it's a rare find. A place like this with its character and age, withstanding time and weather. I love the location and the property itself. I've always wanted to own a place like this. And what better way to keep people away from it and keep Old Man Henning from raising the price? Riker reached for a water bottle and took a drink. Most people know it's just a story. No crime in telling stories, is there? No. Can't say there is. But I say it's childish, and I'd even say it's unethical. A man who owns his own business needs to build a good reputation, one that his clients and colleagues respect. I assume you get a lot of your business by referrals. I wouldn't want potential customers to find out that you start vindictive rumors. It could be bad for business. Riker's blood pressure rose. It wasn't like that. Detective Savard stepped closer to Riker so they were only a foot apart.
That's how it seems. Someone who does that, who knows what they're actually capable of. Maybe they're vindictive enough to get back at an innocent woman who happens to have bought the house he's coveted for years. Try to scare her out. Maybe into selling. Savard registered a flicker of guilt race across Riker's face. Just how guilty was he? They stood there for a hot minute, toe to toe, not saying anything. Savard's intelligent brown eyes searched Riker's. "Gentlemen," Detective Savard said, stepping back. He slipped on his sunglasses. "I'll let you get back to work." He didn't look back as he disappeared around the side of the house. Well done, Detective. That's the end of the chapter, by the way. Well played, sir. So Savard is testing the waters and pushing buttons on Riker to kind of figure out where he stands. And right now, I don't think he's 100% sure. Seems a bit iffy to me, I would say. Very Sherlock Holmes move, yes. The only thing he's missing in that regard is a disguise, some sort of addiction, and offering up zero explanations until the very end. But otherwise, yes. Speaking of Sherlock Holmes, after this book, we do have another book ready to go. The Whistle of Revenge. This is a follow-up from the book we read previously by K.D. Sherringford. And then, unless something else pops up on my radar, falls into my lap, arrives on my doorstep, use whatever analogy you wish, I do have behind me... Alexa, turn on the Google Lights. I do have behind me where it's more lit up now, although my head is in the way. Doesn't matter. It's behind me. I have a collection of hardback Sherlock Holmes books. And like I said, unless something else falls into my lap, I'm going to let you guys choose one. And then we're going to read it. Because who doesn't love a good Sherlock Holmes book? Now, I realize that's going against my usual MO for this channel, for this stream. Typically, I just read books from authors like Melissa or KD. But I kind of got into the Sherlock spirit of things after reading the previous book by KD. So I imagine it's going to happen again. Yeah. It's just one of those things. All right. Let me take another sip of tea. And then we'll crack on with chapter 23. Oh, so good. It's like so delicious, you know? Like you just sip it and it's like golden liquid. But not the color of gold because it's tea, right? You understand? And at some point I should do those exercises too. The curls, the hammers, the push-ups. Yeah. But alas, we continue. Chapter 23 begins on page 179 of the printed copy. Are we like halfway through? I just realized. Holy cow. Pretty darn close, I think. Ugh. Where did that come from? All right. As we were. Savard sat at his desk and worked. He couldn't find anything on Riker James or Sam Harris, not even a parking ticket. He Googled Balts and Beams. Their ratings were all 5 stars. There were good reports on the Better Business Bureau and social media. Balts and Beams lived and breathed on good referrals. Tapping away at his computer, Savard checked out Chad Warner, the ex-boyfriend. There was nothing of any interest there either. He was just an average guy from the Midwest working a 9-to-5 job. Hey, I'm an average guy from the Midwest. But that's not my name. Kilpatrick walked into Savard's office unannounced. Got the printout of the emails and the blog comments off Bree's computer, he said, waving a sheet of paper. Savard looked up at him. Any luck on where they came from? No, running a trace on it now, trying to find where they originated. Kilpatrick put the single piece of paper on his desk. You need me? Let me know. He was gone as quickly as he had come. Savard searched Bree Thompson next. He got a couple of hits. Her website was first. Images by Bree. He followed the link. He was surprised when a cover photo of a lush golden wheat field graced the initial contact. The picture was so crystal clear he could see individual grain heads, and he swore they looked like they shifted in the wind. The wheat field did a slow fade into a gorgeous sunset. The warm, vibrant colors of the sun bled into the deep, dark blues of the ocean. The image shifted again, and he was captivated by a white-tailed deer standing in a flower-filled meadow. The meadow zoomed in, enlarging the flowers until they faded in the background. There was a small photo of Bree in the upper left-hand corner, and her name in the top banner. The navigation bar had tabs for portraits, landscapes, events, a bio, and a blog. Savard clicked through the website, impressed by her talent and captivated by the unique photos available for purchase. He read through a few of her blogs, which discussed different techniques for lighting, moving objects, creating more depth, and getting crisper photos. After exhausting the website, he went to the next post about her, the tragic accident that took her family. He jotted down any names mentioned in the article, including the semi's driver, Garth Snader. He was so engrossed in the world of Bree Thompson that he wasn't aware of how much time had passed until his wife called. You're meeting me at the hospital, right? She asked. He pulled his eyes away from the computer. Hospital? He questioned. Lamaze class, remember? Savard glanced at his watch. Class. Right. 7 o'clock. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Are we going out to eat after? He asked, suddenly famished. Yes. Right. See you soon. He hung up, logged off his laptop, and grabbed his keys. And then there was a seashell on the page, and a Purple in chat. Hello, Purple. Fellow trucker from another mother. Purple, from now on, I'm gonna have to ask you to start streaming American Truck Sim and nothing else. How are you? I am well, thank you. I hope you are too. I know you've had a lot of craziness lately. You don't have to go into detail. I completely understand. It's been kind of scary. But yeah, I hope there's been a little bit of mellow, you know, because you could use
that
it.
scared me. That startled me. Whoa! Whoa! All right, let's not chop up the dead lady. Let's not chop up the dead lady. Okay.
No, let's chop her into little pieces. Today has been okay, thanks. I'm glad to hear that. You've been on my mind. Yeah. What a crappy day. And I will say no more because it's not my business to say. As I was getting to, though, there was a break in the story because that's what the seashell is. I'm going to do something for you, Purple. Just a bit nervous for Thursday. I'm trying to remember what Thursday is. It's an appointment. I know that. I just can't remember what it's for. Yeah, my pleasure. And I will even still spin the wheel because I'm a man of honor and stuff. Hey, look, it's squats. That was the one we didn't have. Oh, that's right, the thyroid thing. Yes. I remember now. Well, I hope whatever happens, that you get some sort of answers. That is my hope. Because answers provide direction, and direction means progress. So, of course. Of course. All right. I'm going to clear my throat with another delicious sip of tea, and then we're going to crack on. Oh, Purple, because this relates to you. You were there. Type exclamation honk. Gotta be you, Purple. You have to type it. Purple. All right, we'll keep reading. But when I see you pop up in chat again, exclamation point honk. Honk, honk. Purple, I see you. Type exclamation point honk. Do it. Do it. Honk, noise, honk, noise, honk, noise, honk. It still cracks me up. I said I was gonna do it. I'm a man of my word. Nah, there's a cooldown, okay? You didn't think I'd think of that? Come on now, I'm smarter than that. All right, now that that's out of the way, story time. Bree was looking forward to tonight. Colette had invited her to go out with the girls for dinner at the Shark Shack. They were celebrating. Colette had landed herself a job at an advertising agency. Little did Colette know what was really going on. Bree smiled, thinking of the surprise Sherry had included her in. He won't let us honk the reckless abandon? Or with reckless abandon? No, I won't. Shame on you. Wait a minute. Cody, do you stream? What do I feel like you do? Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Not yet. Planning to. Okay. All right. Well, feel free to share with all of us here what it is you plan to stream, because I am curious to know. She shut off the lights and left the studio, taking special care to check the door locks as she went through the house. She went upstairs to her room, walked outside, and stood on the deck for a few minutes, checking the temperature and taking in the view. Content? She went back in and slipped into her favorite pair of faded jeans and a white knit top that clung to her and set off the start of her summer tan. She applied a trace of makeup and straightened her hair. She put in small silver hoops that glittered in the light. She was latching a silver chain around her neck when she heard a car. She slid on her white sandals, adjusted her silver anklet, and descended the stairs as the doorbell rang.
I'm lurking now.
Alan! Thank you for the lurk. And please say hi to the duck for me. Bree opened it to find Colette standing there with a bundle of mail in her arms. Hey, girl. Are you ready? I am. Just let me grab my purse. Come in a second. Bree held the door wide. Oh, wow, Colette said, taking a big breath. This place is gorgeous. Thank you. What do you have there? Bree asked, indicating the armful of newspapers and envelopes Colette held. She looked down. It's your mail. I hope you don't mind, but the box was full. The door was hanging open, so I thought I'd grab it for you. She handed Bree the bundle. Thanks. I guess I haven't gotten the mail in a while. Hadn't actually thought about it with everything going on. She tossed it on the counter. Why do I feel like there's going to be something in that pile of mail that's going to be quite important? Maybe it's not. But I don't know, just a gut feeling. She grabbed her empty purse and slipped in her camera, wallet, cell phone, and lip gloss. Then slung it over her shoulder. With the mailbox out by the road, I don't even think about it unless I drive past it. Do you want a tour? I definitely do. Colette glanced at her phone. But we don't have time right now. I told the girls we'd be there in 15 minutes, so we'd better go. How about when we come back? Sounds good. I'm ready then. They walked past the living room and Colette hesitated. Is this where it happened? She asked, noticing the bare windows, the scarred floor, and the freshly painted walls. Bree nodded. Colette shivered. That gives me the willies. I can't even imagine how you begin to sleep at night. I stay up late and go to bed completely exhausted, Bree said grimly. Let's not think about it tonight. Bree ushered Colette out the door, flipping on the outside lights and locking up. They both climbed into Colette's car and started down the bumpy lane. Well, how was the first week of work? Bree asked. It was great. Everyone is so nice and friendly. I have my cubicle and my very first assignment. How exciting. What is it? Have you ever seen those books they have in hotel rooms? Colette glanced over at Bree. You know, the ones that have advertisements in them for places to eat, things to do, sights to see? Yes, there was one in my room at the hotel. I looked through it several times. I found a few good places to eat and some stores. Is that what you're going to be working on? Yup. I think mostly it's a no-brainer. You know, give the new girl something she can't possibly screw up. But whatever. Uh-oh, we have an ad starting. And I totally forgot to check for ads. We're going to let the ad happen. Because then we'll be uninterrupted for like 50 more minutes. So let's have that happen. We have several streamer friends in common. Most of the people who went on the ghost hunt actually saw him. Oh, yeah. That's why you sound familiar. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that ghost hunt was so much fun. And very tiring. Did you ever get to see, I don't know if you're in ads right now or if Twitch is actually doing its job or not, who knows. Did you ever get to see the YouTube video I made of our adventure together? Our time spent? All right, I have no idea who has ads right now and who doesn't, but they'll be over soon, and then we'll keep on reading our fun little story here. I turboed this month. Oh, so I've been curious, Jesse. I know it's like $11, $12 or whatever for the month, but do you feel like it's worth it? Just out of curiosity. For no ads across all streams? I feel like you're going to say, duh, yeah. Yeah, I've known Kenny for years, most of the other people for 6 months to be a year, and I'm dating Ninja of the Blue. I'm not currently in ads. Okay. Got it. All right. Well, that's awesome. And Jesse says, yep, to Turbo. Yeah, I've been contemplating it just because it's, you know, sometimes like trying to keep a track of all of the subs and stuff. Like I still want to support, don't get me wrong. But yeah, sometimes I just feel like Turbo might be a little bit easier. I just don't know if I want to pay the $12 a month to do it. But then I'm already paying like $6 or $7 for the individual. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, because obviously it's there for a reason, right? So, and yes, I did see the video, but Blue actually invited me to the Ghost Hunt server when you first showed it. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Puzzle needs more room. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's working on the puzzle right now. Unless it's like kicked me out of it or something. Yep, looks pretty much the same. All right. Well, it's there if anyone wants to do it. Absolutely no pressure at all. The link wasn't pinned and it was too late to join in. It's never too late, Jesse. All you have to do is do !puzzle and you will get the link that is current. I was, but it started to melt my brain. Yeah, I made this one harder because on Sunday when I was reading, everyone was just like churning through the puzzles like it was nothing. So, you're not a derp. But you're welcome. All right. Back to the story. See now, Cody, you have a helper. Right. So she was like, in case, I can't possibly screw it up, but whatever. Okay, got it. She shrugged. All I have to do is contact the existing business and try to get them to buy back into it. Updating the events page, change the layout to make it more user-friendly and inviting. There are a few pages for new businesses and a few scenic photos of the area. Colette glanced over at Bree as she flipped on her blinker to make the right turn. They have a photographer they've used forever. He gives them the same tired photos year after year. They said if I knew of someone else, I could use them at my discretion. Oh? Yeah, so I thought, I know a new and upcoming hotshot photographer that I might be able to collaborate with. Maybe trade a few photos for an ad advertising her business? She pulled into the lot behind the Shark Shack and parked the car. What do you think, hotshot? Want to collaborate? Bree laughed. I'm no hotshot, but I'd love to. Awesome. We can talk about it more later. Let's go eat. I'm starving. They both got out of the car and headed into the restaurant. The place was packed. A noise wafted out as the door opened. The hostess greeted them and ushered both women back to the party room. There must be a mistake. We're just meeting a couple of friends. No mistake. Follow me, hun. She winked at Bree as she opened the door to the party room. Surprise! That's how I imagined everyone did it. We demolished those puzzles? Yeah, you did. The room was bursting at the seams with all Colette's friends and families. Oh, you guys! Colette shrieked and was pulled into the crowd of people. Bree stood inside the door, unsure where to go or what to do. She hadn't been expecting this many people. She didn't see anyone she recognized. Hey, Bree, Sam said, coming up beside her. Sam, I'm so glad to see you. For a second, I thought I wouldn't know anyone. Well, might as well get yourself something to drink. He raised a cup. And eat. It'll be a while before you see her again. Come on, I'll go with you. They threaded their way through the crowd and got in line at the buffet. Where's Riker? She asked, picking up a plate. You two are usually inseparable. Inseparable? Really? Inseparable. Not inseparable. Sam scoffed. No, we're not. He met Bree's eyes across the buffet and laughed. It just seems that way. He's coming in a little while. He had a few errands to run. Did he? Did he? Bree selected a sandwich and placed it on her plate, moving slowly down the table. By the way, the patio looks beautiful. I can't believe you guys are almost finished. Oh yeah, it's turning out nice. About another half day's work, and we'll be done. Then we can start the hardwood floors and tear out the kitchen cabinets. They came to the end of the buffet and looked for a spot to sit. Sam balanced his loaded plate, spotted Sherry and motioned towards the table in the back. Bree nodded and followed. And then there was a seashell again. Another break in the story. Pray tell, what might happen? Oh, so good. So tasty. And really hot. That's one thing I always forget about cup warmers. As the liquid disappears, it's easier to get the other part of the liquid super freaking hot fast. So, you know. Anywho. Riker entered the room and was engulfed in noise. Music, laughter, and conversation made it impossible for him to hear himself think. Someone had turned on a disco light suspended from the center of the room, casting the crowd in dancing light. He was surprised to see a few couples dancing. He threaded through the crowd, greeting familiar faces and stopping to chat for a few minutes, but he searched for a specific person. From across the room, he saw her. Her golden brown hair hung straight as an arrow, shimmering in the pale light. Her blue eyes sparkled like sapphires as she laughed at something someone said. She was surrounded by people he knew. Sam, Sherry, Carol, and Greg Carpenter. He grabbed a drink from the bar and headed to the table. To her. The table was full, but he snagged a chair from the one next to it. Got room for one more? Riker asked. Sherry looked up. Riker, of course. Make room, everyone. Chairs scraped the floor, bodies shifted, and space between Bree and Sherry somehow opened up. Riker sat and his legs bumped hers. His leg bumped hers, not both legs. That would be really weird. He looped an arm over the back of her chair and reached across Bree. Carpenter, nice to see you, he said, shaking his hand. Didn't know you knew Colette? Only in passing, Greg answered. Carol and Cheryl invited me. And who can pass up a party? He was interrupted by Linda's appearance. Well, look at that. The gang's all here. Dinner is done? Ooh. What's for dinner? Glad you're actually eating something, by the way. I heard what you did yesterday. Ma'am. And if you type a bowl of cereal, jambalaya and kielbasa. Much better than a bowl of cereal. Good job. I know. Sorry, wait, in purple speak, it's I know. Something like that. Well, look at that. The gang's all here. She smiled sweetly and bent to hug Riker and Sam. Bree, I want to tell you that we have been getting so many compliments on the picture you gave us. Everyone who comes in raves over it. Bree beamed. Thank you, Linda. That's great to hear. It made me think we should update the pictures in the conference room. They're old and faded. I wondered if you had anything you thought would go in there? I'm sure I could find something. Great. Stop by sometime next week and take a look. Let me know your thoughts. Linda heard her name called and looked up. She waved. I gotta make the rounds. You kids have fun, but not too much. She gave Riker a wink and disappeared into the crowd. You have fun, honey. I'll stick some in the microwave for you. better put it on low and slow. I don't know how far apart you guys are, but could be a trek. Sherry leaned over to Riker and whispered something in his ear. His lips quirked effortlessly into a smile, making Bree wonder what Sherry had said. She tried not to let it bother her, but a little prick of jealousy formed in the pit of her stomach. Was he interested? Sherry placed her hand on his thigh and left it. Bree forced herself to look away, only to make eye contact with Craig. He smiled coyly, making her cheeks flush. I feel like Greg's this, young pup, you know? Doesn't have a ton of conversations with women, outside of work, of course. I could be wrong. He could be a stone-cold killer. We just don't know it yet. Riker said something to Sherry that only she could hear, and it made her giggle. Then she ran a hand up his arm. Bree couldn't stand it. She slid her chair back and cleared her throat. I'm going to walk around and photograph the party. Does anyone need anything while I'm up? No, we're good. Bree nodded, pulling out her camera, and disappeared into the crowd. She moved slowly among them, looking for clusters of friends. Bree snapped a few candid pictures, and for others, she asked people to pose. She photographed them in groups of 3s and 4s, lifting cups in salute or wrapping arms around each other. She found Colette and made her the focal point of the evening. You could use some tea? All right, hold on. This is for you. Did you get that? I hope so. I can't do it twice. Yummy? Oh, thank God. I told you I'd make a good cup of tea. From his vantage point, he watched her move effortlessly among the crowd. He sipped his beer and politely listened to Sherry chatter on, making the appropriate comments or gestures when needed. But his real focus was Bree. To say she worked the crowd was an understatement. She created magic, was friendly and graceful, and oozed charisma as she worked. She got people to pose without interrupting the flow of the conversation or the party, to laugh and smile genuinely at the camera, at her. She took one group after another, whether dancing, sitting, or eating. No person went unnoticed. No group was too small or large to aim her camera at. When she had the camera pointed in someone's direction, they had her undivided attention. He wanted that. He wanted her to look at him and no one else. To have her focus solely on him. To be framed in a moment, just with her. Do you squeeze a few drops of lemon into your tea because that sounds good? Typically no, just because it's black tea and I add milk and sugar. So adding lemon might, well, I don't know if that would kind of make it interesting or not. Well, I'm sure it would make it interesting. Whether it's a good interesting or a bad interesting is the question. But yeah, I can't say I've ever done that. Earth to Riker, Sherry said, leaning in close and touching his arm. You're a million miles away. Can I come too? She said softly. His face etched into deep, masculine lines of concern. Then he gave his attention to Sherry and flashed a dynamite smile. What is a Melissa? Can you help me out here? What does a dynamite smile look like? Just out of curiosity. Still mama's mama, like this. The Cheshire Cat. Oh, God, that's funny. Nowhere special. I'm gonna go grab a sandwich. Be back in a few. He got up and left the table quickly. He knew Sherry was into him, and until recently he thought he might be into her too. But then Bree walked into his life, and everything changed. The Borat smile. Hello. That thought alone made him want a beer. He didn't like being focused on one woman. He liked to roam, wander, and enjoy each woman and what they had to offer. Wow, this guy's, he's something. He appreciated each one and their individuality. He had never craved one in particular until Bree. Melissa, you have a very good choice of words when it comes to this guy. Enjoying their individuality, the use of the word craved instead of admired or something more, gentlemanly, I guess, for lack of better words. It's a good choice. There's another seashell. He thinks he's very suave. Yeah, he's like, even the mirror loves me. Chip off the old block, After the cake had been cut and served, the music slowed and the crowd thinned. Cans and bottles were collected, the buffet disassembled, trash whisked away, and tables taken down. Colette stood by the doorway, a little tipsy, giving hugs to each person as they wished her well and left for the night. Bree aimed her camera one last time as Sam hugged Colette. Bree captured the intimate moment and thought, there might be something there. Riker came up beside her, making her jump. He leaned down so close she could feel his breath on her neck. Do you mind? She asked as he bent over her shoulder, trying to keep her heart from fluttering. Not at all. Why? Do you? She shrugged him off. Yes, you're a little too close. I need some space to work. Bree glanced over to see Sherry and Greg standing together, watching them. Besides, I don't think Sherry would appreciate it. Bree took a noticeable step away from him. Sherry's not the boss of me. What are you, 3? Not the boss of you? Are you kidding? She looked at him and raised a brow. He flashed a deeply etched smile, making him dangerously appealing. Bree swallowed hard. Besides, by the look on Sherry's face, I would say she disagrees with that statement. Riker didn't even look in Sherry's direction. He kept his eyes locked on Bree. Her breath caught. She felt like he could see right through her, that he knew precisely how attracted to him she was. She cleared her throat and inched back a little further. If you'll excuse me, I need to see if Colette is ready to go. On cue, Colette walked over with Sam. Hey, she said, bumping her hip into Bree's. You about ready to go? When you are, but I should drive. Colette smiled. Yeah, I think you're right. I've had a few too many. Oh, I can take you, Sam chimed in. It's on my way. It took a few minutes to sort it all out, but in the end, Bree drove Colette home, with Sam following behind. Then Sam took Bree home. As Sam pulled into her driveway, As Sam pulled into her driveway, the moon was hidden behind some clouds. Bree was glad she had left the outside lights on as they approached the house, but still, it was dark, and it made her think of what could be waiting inside. I was thinking maybe we could put some lights along the driveway, light it up a bit. Bree glanced at Sam. I think that's a great idea. We could even put some lights on the front to accent the roof at the peaks. Make the house have a romantic yet dramatic feel. You could use some on the back too. It would look spectacular from land and sea. Really show the place off. I'll get you a price with some options. That sounds great. Bree opened her door. Thanks for the ride. You're welcome. Do you need me to come in? I'll be fine. Thanks, though. I'll wait until you're in. I would have been like, yes, could you do a once around, please? And I'll just, hang out right here by the door with a knife. She unlocked the door and waved. He pulled around and disappeared down the lane. Bree locked the door behind her and went to the kitchen, flipping on the lights. She glanced in each room, a little paranoid, hoping she wouldn't find anything. With a sigh of relief, she was satisfied that everything looked in order. The mail was where she left it, piled on the island, and nothing else seemed out of place. Bree got a glass of water, leaned back against the counter, and savored the quiet and the dark. Her ears were still ringing from the loud music. Not quite ready for bed, Bree decided to check the photos she had taken at the party. She reached into her purse to get her camera and felt a piece of paper. She pulled out the folded sheet and knew it hadn't been there when she left the house. She unfolded it, only to reveal a photo of herself. She was standing in her bedroom in her bra and jeans, the white shirt she wore now in her hands. She started to shake as she read the big, bold, typed message across the bottom. I'm watching you. Oh, shit. She dropped the paper on the counter like it was on fire. She tried to think, to reason. He had to have been at the party. There were so many people at the party, so many she didn't know, only a handful she did. He could have been any one of them. He could have been anywhere, watching her, waiting to slip the photo into her purse. And he'd been here earlier, outside when she was getting dressed. He'd seen her half naked. He'd been at the house and the party. Fear slicked through her, causing her to shake uncontrollably. She grabbed her cell phone and dialed the detective, suddenly afraid of the quiet and the dark. And that, rightfully so, concludes Chapter 23. This is why curtains. Well, I mean, to each their own. But at the same time, you have to realize that the house that she is living in is up on a hill, so to speak, overlooking the water, and there's a long lane that kind of leads to the drive, or a long lane that is the driveway to the house. So, in theory, yes, even though you would probably be wise to have curtains, you wouldn't really expect anyone to be able to see you that well because the next house isn't that close. Unless, Melissa, am I misinterpreting what my brain thinks of where the house is in, relationship to other houses? In my head, this house is kind of a standalone. Okay, that's exactly right. So yeah, curtains, yes, probably for comfort and, just normalcy for lack of anything else. But one wouldn't really need to in that kind of environment because you're kind of secluded. But now she's being seen. This is fun. All right. Before we do anything else, let me check to see how much time we have. The guy with this good zoom cam did it. Precisely. I owe some workouts, and then we're going to read one more chapter. Okay? All right. 5 squats, 5 curls, 10 hammers, 5 push-ups. We'll do the push-ups first. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see me or not, but I'll be down there, keeping Iowa flat in this part of the neighborhood. Thank God it was only 5. We did it! And now I can remove them. Thank you. I can really tell that I haven't done push-ups in a while. Oops. All right, there we go. How are we doing on ads? 30 minutes? All right, cool. Okay. We all ready for chapter 24? I am. The rest of the week passed quietly. She called a locksmith. He changed all the locks on the outside doors and installed a security bar on the slider. Next was the electrician. He installed solar accent lights that ran the length of the driveway and spotlights on the front of the house that pointed and accented every peak. She needs, like, big old floodlights. It's just my opinion. In the back, he had attached floodlights with motion sensors on each corner of the house. Right? It's like I knew. Yeah. Nailing it. When on, they flooded the backyard in soft light, reaching as far out as her favorite spot. Other projects were coming along nicely too. The guys had finished the patio and all the hardwood floors. Bree had ordered patio furniture and a fire pit, which was delivered yesterday afternoon. She couldn't wait to try it out. That's something I'm looking forward to buying as well, a fire pit. And some nice places to sit. They were scheduled to start the kitchen next week. The cabinets would ship early, and Sam promised they'd be ready. The remodeling that started when she moved in had ceased temporarily. It would start again on Monday. But for today, there was no hammering, no music, and no voices. Only quiet. Bree went through the house, pulling back shears, opening windows, and inviting the sunshine and the bay breeze in. She wondered how someone could not be happy on a day like today. She grabbed her laptop, sunglasses, and sunscreen, and placed her floppy hat on her head. She walked out of the house, across the new stone patio, and down through the grass. She noticed the grass was getting long and needed to be cut. A mower, she thought. I need to buy a mower. The mower made her think of her father. Oh, Dad, I wish you were here to see my place and enjoy it. She swallowed and wiped a single tear that threatened to fall. Not today, she thought. Fear and sorrow had no place on this beautiful day. She eased down into her chair, placing her stuff in the one beside her, and sat for a moment gazing across the water. It was smooth today. The water was the color of cyan and shimmered like a mirror, bouncing back the sun's intense rays. A few boats were out, racing up and down the bay. She figured by noon the bay would be full. She wondered what it would be like to sit here and watch them a year from now. Would she still find it peaceful, relaxing, captivating? Or would she tire of the wind, the sand, and the sun? She didn't think she would. Not when she sat here now in awe. I wouldn't get tired of it either. She snagged her laptop from the chair and leaned back, thankful she had a career she loved and a business she could delve into. To think it all started when she joined the school yearbook and volunteered to take pictures because no one else would. She was in love from the moment she picked up her first camera. She loved everything about it. The cool black metal finish, the weight of it in her hands as she aimed it, and the feel of it on her shoulder as she carried it from event to event. It became a part of her as nothing had before. She loved capturing the special moments. It connected her to what was happening before her, even if she didn't know the people or understand the sport. It was like she was stepping into an intimate moment with those she held in her lens, one that no one else could feel. But if she did her job well, others could see, feel, and relive it too. She relished it all, whether on the soccer field, at the football stadium, or on the auditorium stage. And then, the compliments started coming. She started the website for herself, her family, and her friends. It had just been a way to organize and keep track of the photos. She posted the pictures and soon had some followers. The whole thing snowballed from there. Chad, would you rather live without hot water or AC? Oh God. a would you rather question, and a painful one at that. Oh. Damn. I'd have to say without hot water. I can warm myself up just fine, but cooling myself down, especially with the humidity I get to deal with in summer, that ain't happening. So I'll keep the AC. Thank you very much. And welcome in, by the way. And here she was, almost 8 years later, still loving it. There was that old phrase that said a picture tells a story, and that's what she strived for with every click of her camera. A story people could relate to and feel as though they looked at her images. With that in mind, Bree set to work. She wanted to work on a couple of more sailboat photos. She pulled them up and kept them side by side, waiting to turn them into a set. They were similar to the one she had already given Linda at Coastal Realty, but a little more serene and subdued, making them perfect for the conference room. The room was decorated in the same blues and repeated the theme of the reception area, but it was darker and richer. Bree edited the sailboats that way. She enhanced the shadows, produced more depth, and blurred out the edges, but kept her sails so crisp and white she could almost hear them snap in the ocean breeze. Satisfied, she saved her changes, added her watermark, attached them to an email, and sent them to Linda. Inspired, Bree went ahead and wrote her blog. She focused solely on how to properly crop photos, giving tips and showing some examples. Next, she checked her website and processed a few orders. She was pleased. Orders had been steady since she had moved. She needed to increase her advertising, though, to really get her name out there. The coffee table book Colette was talking about working together on would be a great start, but that would be a while before it was finished. For now, she thought she would quickly post on social media. She scrolled through her photos and found one of the broken down, dingy next to her clipboard dock. She edited it, cropping out some of the surrounding water. She changed the filter to black and white and used a vignette to soften the edges. She enhanced the dapple of sunlight on the bow and adjusted the sharpness to the point where it looked like a tiny spark set on the point. Finished, she enlarged the final product, examining it for flaws. And flaws did it have. Beautiful, real flaws. The boat itself was beaten and weathered. The dock was worn and aged, and Manja raided with a party of 7. Manja! My guy! What's up, man? It's been a while. How are you? It is so great to see you. Oh, I was literally about to hit enter, and then Purple beat me to it. What were you getting up to? Monster Hunter Wilds. Nice. My dude, it is wonderful to see you. Thank you for bringing your community over to see me.
I'll follow you.
I will follow you.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Probably which way do we go? I don't know. I hope you're well, sir. Thank you for thinking of me in your time of raidingness. For the folks in the raid that may not know who I am the Bookfather. I'm a book narrator 2 days out of 3, and a truck driver on the 3rd day. But I'm also a voice actor. So, yeah, welcome. We're working on our final chapter for the evening. We've got this really cool book in front of us. Excellent story. A mystery definitely a mystery with some touches of romance. But yes, welcome in. And again, thank you. Manja, if you need to, do whatever you need to do post-stream, I totally get it. Same for your lovely people. If you gotta go do the things and the stuffs, I totally understand. I just want to say again, thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate that very much. Right, I remember where we were. Top of page 193. Thank you, Purple. The boat itself was beaten and weathered. The dock was worn and aged. The rope that tied them together frayed and unraveled. The photo showed every pockmark, every chip and crack. It was fragile and breathtaking. Like life, she thought. Pleased, Bree added her watermark, posted it on her feed, and captured it tethered. And then there was a break in the story, which means sip a tea. Oof. It just so good. Oh, before I continue, quick reminder, just in case, because it is a slightly new schedule. Thursday will be truck driving. Honk, honk. And then afterward, in Discord, we will be reading Onyx Storm. We just started it. We're only a couple chapters in. So we'll be continuing that book in Discord after stream around 8 Central, which is like 15 minutes from now, based on, wherever you might be in the world. So just throwing that out there before I forget. All right, so we've got a break in the story, and it looks like Riker is our next subject at hand. Riker drove west, away from the coast, away from the water. When he wanted to be headed towards it and out on it. But this job wouldn't take long, or so Linda said. It was a friend of hers from the bridge club, Mrs. Peters. She was old and frail. She was the oldest member of the bridge club. Linda had gone on and on until he'd said yes. There were only 3 things that needed to be done. Linda promised a concise list. He mentally ran through the list. 1, fix the railing on the porch so Mrs. Peters had the support she needed to go down the short set of stairs. 2, repair the screen door. It needed new mesh and the rusty hinges replaced. 3, tighten a cabinet door in the kitchen. Simple enough, he hoped. Riker took note of the place as he pulled in. The grass was too long, the house needed painting, and the white picket fence needed mending. He sighed. This wasn't going to be a quick job. There's no way he could leave the house looking like this. See, Riker's a good guy at heart, I think. Because, the jerk version of Riker would have been like, all right, I did the 3 things. Peace out. See ya. But he's seeing problems and he wants to help, That has to count for something. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. He knocked on the door, heard a dog bark inside and shuffle of feet. A long moment later, the door opened and out peered 2 sets of eyes. One set was big, brown and almond-shaped. The other, faded blue. The blue eyes belonged to Mrs. Peters, and the brown to her Cocker Spaniel.
You must be Riker. Linda told me you were coming at 8 sharp. And look at that. Right on the dot.
She shuffled backward and opened the door wider. She was hunched at the shoulders and fragile looking, but there was a sparkle in her eyes that couldn't be squelched by age. Riker could still see the beauty she once had been under the heavily etched lines of her face. "Yes, ma'am, that's me." He stuck out his hand and took her petite one. "Riker James. And who's this beauty?" he asked, shaking the Cocker Spaniel's paw.
"Oh, this here's Millie, my best girl."
"Hey there, Millie," he said, patting her head. Millie reached up and licked his hand.
"Why, Riker James, if you ain't the most handsome thing I ever seen, I don't know who is. Even Millie here is taken by you, and she's a hard sell. My Harvey, he was good looking too, a real James Dean. But you make this old heart flutter."
Riker chuckled. "You flatter me, Mrs. Peters. Linda mentioned you had a few things that needed to be fixed."
"Oh, yes, I almost forgot why you were here. Don't mind me if I don't look at you when we speak. You're making my mind all fuzzy."
Well, she's certainly not holding back, is she? Riker smiled at her. He liked her instantly. She put the dog down and shuffled through the house to the kitchen.
"This cabinet door needs fixing."
She pointed at it and kept moving.
"This back screen door needs work, and those stairs. That's all. You think you can handle that?"
You bet, Mrs. Peters. I got Super SB in my chat. Super. Looky, it's Atkinson with a bookie. Just don't try and give me any nookie. Thank you, Super, for the 29 months. Good grief. You're right behind Stump Mama's mama. Hers was at 30. Thank you so much. You missed it, though. I already did my workouts. You make me want to scream like a Wookiee. Oh, God. Okay. How about I spin the wheel and we'll just leave that where it is. Streamer picks. I'll see myself out. No, you just got here. Stay at least 5 minutes. Let's see. Well, could never have too many squats, right? So I'll put them on squats. Thank you, Super. Purple, can we get a shout out for the After Hours Broalition, please? Super is one of 3 brothers, part of that team. I made it to level 17 in ATS and pimped out a truck. Ooh, nice. Someone's been putting the miles in. I'm still 13 or 14, something like that. Good job. I want to say level 20 is the next, round of trucks that you can get. It was so hard not to crash into anything. It is possible, you know. I did a, one of the special deliveries with, super special cargo. It gave me a police escort, which meant specific rules, otherwise you messed it up. But it allowed me to go through red lights. One thing I didn't realize, though, until the very end, is that you couldn't just skip the parking. Even if it was the easy parking, you still had to finish it. It doesn't give you a get out of parking free card. I wanted to crash so bad, I started a small one and plowed a bus off the road on purpose. Just to scratch that itch, right? Yeah. Well, Purple must be busy, so I will get you with one hand. Let's see if I spelled that right. There we go. Which brother will we see on the screen is the question. There's a 33% chance it'll be you. As soon as, you know. Zarias. He made something go boom. Not that nerd. Hey, you decided to collab as one channel, okay? This is just the dice. You throw it, you see where they land. All right. Riker is getting hit on by a elderly lady, so let's continue, shall we? You bet, Mrs. Peters. I got everything I need in the truck for those jobs. But first, let me ask, who's been cutting your lawn? Why? You in the mowing business too? He smiled broadly. No, ma'am, but your lawn is looking a little long. If you wanted, I could cut it quickly before it gets hot and still get these other jobs. It's up to you. She eyed him knowingly.
That'd be very kind of you. The neighbor boy has been doing it, but he fell off his skateboard last week and sprained his ankle. Be at least another week before he can mow.
Well, I'd be happy to do it for you if you have a mower.
Oh, I sure do. It's out back. Be nice to get it cut. Otherwise, the bugs start getting bad in the high grass. I worry about ticks and mosquitoes.
They walked back to the shed with Millie trailing. Next to it was a small doghouse with a little fence around it.
Want to see my pups?
You have puppies?
Yep. Millie here had 4 puppies.
Riker peered over the little fence and saw 4 little cocker spaniels. They're certainly cute. Mrs. Peters bent down and patted Millie.
My Millie makes good babies. Cute as a button they are,
she said, scooping the littlest one up.
All spoken for too, except this one.
She handed her to Riker.
Cute, ain't she?
That she is, Riker said, holding the runt of the litter at arm's length. He examined her long, floppy ears, which were the color of copper. She had pure white patches on her face and her sides. Cute was an understatement. Her little stub of copper tail wiggled fiercely as she snuggled against his chest. Very cute. He handed the puppy back before he could get sucked in. Right then, the mower? Mrs. Peters laughed heartily, reading him.
You're a softy. Mower's in the shed.
The little swatch of a yard only took him an hour to mow and weed whack. He fixed the stairs, the cabinet, and the screen door. She made him a sandwich and chatted the whole time he ate, asking questions about his business, family, friends, health, and love life. There wasn't a subject she was afraid to broach. After eating, he replaced light bulbs in 2 of the bedrooms and the hanging light fixture in the entryway. He asked her for batteries, which she dug out of a junk drawer, and he replaced them in all the smoke detectors. He even fixed the picket fence out front and scheduled time to come back to paint the house. Mrs. Peters was pleased.
Why, Riker James, you have done a wonderful job. And I'll be sure to tell Linda and all my friends. Now,
she went to the closet and pulled out her purse.
How much do I owe you for today?
Not a thing, ma'am. He patted her on the hand. Just doing a favor for a friend.
You're so sweet and lucky.
Lucky? He questioned.
Yes, lucky. 'Cause if you had said an old friend, I would have had hit you over the head with my pocketbook.
Riker laughed. There isn't anything old about you, Mrs. Peters. Riker stood and packed up his toolbox. I need to get going. It's been a real pleasure.
Now, Riker James, what kind of woman do you take me for if you think I'm going to let you walk out of here empty-handed?
She tisked loudly.
No, sir. I gotta give you something for your troubles.
He thought for a second. There is one thing. She pointed directly at him with a crooked finger.
Name it, and it's yours.
And that is the end of chapter 24. Now, before you start getting crazy, get your mind out the gutter.
I got a Werther's Originals around here somewhere.
No, he needs the puppy, and we need to know if he got the puppy. Well, we will find out if he gets the puppy or not. Next time. Hi there, by the way. Are you in the puzzle? Not next time, this time. Very demanding. Okay, fine. Chapter 25 is a short one. So, we will read one more chapter. Are you happy now? You see how easy I am as a pushover? It's ridiculous. I do need to run ads again though, because they're like, I've already dismissed them once, so yeah, ad break happening. Stunt Mama can't stand not to know something. Oh, I've realized this. Yes, it's true. I am quite aware. And one of these days, I'm going to use that against her. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. And then I can sing that little ditty. I know something you don't know, doo-da, doo-da. I know something you don't know, doo-da-doo-da-day. Read as Batman. Okay.
This is what I get for saying that I would read another chapter. For dramatic effect.
It's not that dramatic.
Goodbye, Super. Chapter 25. He gave her a puppy, and not just any puppy. The cutest little cocker spaniel she'd ever seen. Bree fell in love instantly, and a little more with the man. She cuddled her close. Riker, she's so sweet, but I can't take her from you. Nonsense. I got her for you. But why? Bree held her up, cradled in the palm of her hand, looked into her big brown eyes, and saw nothing but pure love. As only a puppy can give. I'm Pupman. Why would you do that? Because you're out here all alone, with everything happening. He shrugged. I thought you could use a watchdog. Chin strap.
Cocker spaniel as a watchdog. Bree laughed and snuggled her close again. Yeah, because she's so fierce. She's barely more than a handful. Okay, not now, but dogs, even small ones, can sense other people. She may not be much of a watchdog now, but that yapping could be an alarm. Alarm dog? Exactly. Well, what will I call her? My first thought was Zyla, but you name her whatever you want. She's yours. Zyla? Bree looked at her again. Zyla, that fits her. Small or not, I love her already. So moved by the gesture, without thinking, Bree reached up and kissed Riker on the cheek. Thank you. He didn't even hesitate. His arm slipped around her waist and pulled her in fast. One hand was on her face, and the other moved to her hip. Her breath caught as his lips caressed hers, sealing hers in a hot, passionate kiss. Sparks shot through her from her head to the tips of her toes. It was like nothing she had ever experienced before, gentle, yet demanding. He tasted like soda and desire, smelled like fresh cut grass and aftershave. She forgot about everything and just let herself fall into the kiss. Into what Riker was. Strong, stubborn, compassionate, and sexy. He didn't let up until the little cocker spaniel whimpered and started to squirm between them. She pulled back, realizing they were crushing the puppy. Bree stood breathless and speechless, her face flush and her pulse racing. She eased back a step, trying to catch her breath and put some space between them, afraid he could hear the hammering of her heart. Riker couldn't believe how beautiful she looked at that moment. The sun was setting behind her, and her honey brown hair shone like gold. The adorable puppy in her arms, the color in her cheeks, and the blue of her eyes seemed to pull every ounce of desire out of him. He wanted her as he'd never wanted anyone before. He took a step towards her, determined to kiss her again, but She stepped back and held out her hand. Riker, wait, she whispered breathlessly. Yeah. Why? I've wanted to do that since the first time I saw you at the beach in the morning light. Surprised, she asked, You have? I don't believe you. Then let me show you. He stepped toward her and she quickly stepped back. This isn't a good idea. You're working on the house. This should stay professional. I can separate business from pleasure. Can't you? He teased. No, I can't. She could see he didn't buy it. She thought quickly and switched tactics as he took another step towards her. What about Sam? That stopped him. What about Sam? Riker tucked his hand in his pockets. Do you like Sam? Well, of course I like him. What's not to like? Let me get this straight. You'd rather be kissing Sam? What? No, I just meant that he's your business partner. He won't like you kissing the clients. He smirked. You let me worry about Sam. I don't think you'll have a problem with it. Then what about Sherry? Sherry? He questioned. What about her? Aren't you dating her? No, I'm not. Well, that comes as a surprise to me, and probably Sherry as well. What in the hell is that supposed to mean? Whenever I see you two, I think you're together. He cocked an eyebrow. Damn it, Bree, now you're just making things up. We're not together, never have been. Well, you could have fooled me. And like I said, Sherry's into you. I saw how she looked at you at Sam's party. The Shark Shack. And even the other night at Colette's surprise party. She couldn't keep her eyes or her hands off you. You can't tell me you didn't know. He stayed silent. Which means he knew. Bree read him like a book. That's what I thought. She stared at him, waiting for him to deny it, but he didn't. Riker crossed the yard and went to the truck. I stopped and bought her a bowl, a bed, and dog food. The woman at the store said this is the right kind for puppies. He lifted the items from the truck bed and placed them on the porch. I figured you didn't have these things since I've seen your scantily furnished house. This should at least get you through the night. He turned on his heel and then went back to the truck. You're probably going to want a collar and a crate, but you'll have to get that yourself. He climbed in and started the engine. Oh, and one other thing. She's had all her shots. Bree looked down at the puppy and softened. Riker, thank you. And I'm sorry. Me too. It was just a damn kiss, Bree. Don't read too much into it. It's not like I slung you over my shoulder and dragged you off to bed. But Sherry, I don't do that to friends. Like I said, it was just a kiss. I'm a guy and I took advantage of the situation. Don't flatter yourself that much. Wow, he is like... Someone just popped his ego and it flew away. He threw the truck in drive and pulled out, leaving her standing there with the puppy. And then there was a break in the story. Lotus, when your inner thesaurus becomes intrusive, she looked at the puppy and deflated. Oh, that's funny. She looked at the puppy and it deflated. Welcome in, Lotus. Good to see you. He watched her through his camera, going about her day, working outdoors and playing with her new puppy. Smirking, he thought how easy it would be to take her or kill her if he wanted to. The puppy deflated her under her sharp eyes. Yes, that would be so sad. So keep in mind now we've switched to this mystery person, whoever it is. Just like we did at the end of last time when Bree was staying at Riker's place. It was easy to assume that we were thinking of Riker because they were just talking to each other, but we don't actually know who this is. Or maybe we do? Little did she know that he knew her property like the back of his hand. He spent the days and nights before she moved in scouring the place, looking for hiding places, easy passages in and out. He knew the quickest way by land and by water. He knew where to sit and watch the back of the house and where to see the front. He'd seen the locksmith arrive the other day and change the locks. He'd seen where she hid the key outside. That had made him laugh. There wasn't anything she could do that he wasn't prepared for. He was always one step ahead of her. He'd been watching when the electrician installed the spotlights on the front and the floodlights on the back of the house. Day and night, he watched her and knew she was starting to relax again. She felt safe and reassured that her home improvements could keep him at bay. Little did she know there wasn't any way to keep him out if he wanted in. And he wanted in. That concludes chapter 25. Well, well, well. Quite mysterious indeed. You go through all that trouble to change the locks. Someone has broken into your house at least twice, and the second time left a horrifying, threatening message with a knife in your floor, and yet you decide it's a good idea to leave a key outside. Her pictures are more in focus than she is. That's all I'm going to say. Well, we will have to wait for Sunday to see how it continues. There's going to be more escalation between her and this mystery guy, for sure. You can almost feel it coming through the ink on the page. Thursday will be truck driving, and my hope is that tomorrow I'm able to configure 2 smaller monitors on my side that I will be able to use for the truck driving so that I can kind of get this more like realistic view of being able to look out the window and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see if it works. I might be crushed, my hopes and dreams out the window, as they say. Or I could be pleasantly surprised that I actually bought the right things and made it work. Who knows? But that'll be tomorrow. And then I'll tell you about it on Thursday. Thanks for reading. Absolutely my pleasure. It's a great story, Melissa. I'm loving it. Can't wait to see where it goes. Sad that we're halfway there, though. Like, when did that happen? Or at least I think we're halfway. So Thursday I get to jam to classic rock music. That's, yeah, pretty much. Unless I change the station. But yes, that's the idea. Should be a good time for everybody. All right. Well, as we just learned, the After Hours Broalition crew is live and doing their thing. It looks like we've got Rhino playing a redeemed game that will likely scare the poop right out of his pants. So we're going to go raid and see how that's going. Please feel free to copy the command. Doesn't matter if you're subbed or not. Everyone can use it. You're welcome, Lotus. Be great to see you back anytime. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, 6 Central. Unless I manage to sneak in earlier, but at least by 6 for sure. All right. Let me get the raid going. The raid has been created. Thank you again. Thank you for the raid from Manja and for the kind, very, very kind resubs. I appreciate you guys. I can't wait to see you again. Thursday will be too long. Thank God it's only a couple of days. But until then, as always, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have an amazing night.